Delmarva summers promise two things: heat and storms. We know both can be dangerous. Today on Delmarva Life, we take a look at just how dangerous. First, we all know we shouldn't, but still people leave their kids, even pets, in parked cars. We share two stories that will have you thinking twice before you make the deadly mistake. Plus, could a simple app stop this dangerous trend?
So that's the heat. When it comes to storms, it's not just before and during the storm when you need to be on guard. You also have to be on guard after the storm. Find out how scammers search for vulnerable homeowners in need of repairs help and how to avoid becoming their next target.
Well, despite numerous storms, this historic landmark still stands strong. How you can help keep this Delmarva treasure, the Fenwick Lighthouse, shining brightly along the coast.
If there is one thing a lot of people strive for today, it is success. And there are quite a few things successful people have in common, and they do them all before breakfast. We're going to tell you what they are.
Now let's turn to dinner. How does this sound? Caribbean shrimp over rice. We're in the Delmarva Life kitchen to show you how it's done.
And let the competition begin. It is almost time for the newest season of Big Brother. Today, we meet the house guests and hear some of their strategies to win the big bucks. Delmarva Life starts right now.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Lisa Bryant.
I'm Jimmy Hopple. Welcome to Delmarva Live from Historic Studio D.
And it's still early. Yeah, I still have a couple more hours. I am a Maryland voter. You live in
Delaware.
Delaware. Yeah,
Right.
Maryland voters still have a couple of hours to head to the polls for the primary. Let your voice be heard. They're choosing candidates for governor, attorney general, in various state and local offices. Now, polls will stay open until 8 p.m. And of course, you want to know those results. Tune in to WBOC for all of the primary election results in Maryland.
Right, and as long as you're in line by 8 o'clock, they'll let you vote.
Yes.
So, but you got to be in line for that. So we probably don't need to point out to you that gas prices are up.
Oh, yeah.
Well, here is why. According to AAA Mid-Atlantic, they say the civil war in Iraq is pushing up the gas prices in the U.S. In Delaware, AAA says gas prices have risen 7 cents over the last week to about $3.68 a gallon. In Maryland, it's jumped up 4 cents to $3.67. And it's up to $3.48 in Virginia. AAA says all these prices are just because of the civil war in Iraq.
Right. And is there a point where you really take note? I mean, is there a point where, like, well, after it goes past 350, then you start changing your driving habits, or?
I really don't.
Yeah.
But for some reason, I don't really get bent out of shape until, like now, it's jumping almost a dime over. This is crazy.
I don't pay a whole lot of attention unless there's a big jump or it gets up to $4 or something like that. Well, one alternative to fuel, of course, is alternative power, like from solar energy, and groundbreaking on a new solar electric generation plant in Pocomoke City is actually tomorrow. They're going to have a ceremony held at the project site. That's on Dunn Swamp Road. That's just near 113. The project will encompass approximately 10 acres and will include over 6,200 new solar panels producing 2.1 megawatts of electricity. Now, just to kind of put that into context, the electricity produced is expected to result in a reduction of the city's electric bills by about 16%, or save the city about $40,000.
That's huge.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
That is really huge. Have you noticed, or is it just me, that there's a lot of 50th anniversary things going on this year?
I was talking about that this morning. I mean, 1964 seemed like a landmark year.
It was a big year. It was, segregation was a big thing in 1964. So big that when a mixed racial group of civil rights activists called the Freedom Riders started their nonviolent protests against segregation, they knew they would face harrowing challenges. The riders were greeted by hateful mobs. Ku Klux Klan members called them names, spit in their faces, beat them with bats, bricks, pipes, and nearly killed some of them. The Freedom Riders peacefully sat at local luncheonette counters, met in churches with Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., marched in picket lines, culminating in the abusive arrest of each and every participant. Here's why that's kind of exciting. There are two of the people who took part in those history-making protests, James Brown and Dolores Finger Wright, are going to be at the Schwartz Center in Dover telling their stories. It's going to be on July 2nd at 7 o'clock. The Dover Public Library is sponsoring the whole event, so you can call them for more information at that number, 302-736-7030.
This would be an excellent thing to take your children to. Let them hear
Yeah,
history.
I think it's one thing to get it from a news standpoint, but to get it from somebody that was there.
Who was there. Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of young people, we want to say congratulations to Boy Scout Troop 190 of Easton. They hiked the Appalachian Trail in the Shenandoah National Park. That's quite a feat, let me tell you. 13 scouts and 7 leaders backpacked all camping gear needed for a 12-mile, 3-day camping trip. I hope they had good weather for that.
I still feel bad for the kid on the end of the picture because he's looking down at his belt buckle.
Oh,
and didn't get to
I
look
think
at
he was snapping.
Yeah. Well,
His
you know what?
backpack.
Talking about
Yeah,
kids.
there he is.
There he is,
Look
right
at
there.
the
See on the
right.
right end in the orange shirt? He's thinking, you know, Rick, you couldn't take another picture with me looking up. Well, anyway, talking about kids, there's a couple of kids at St. Polycarp Parish in Smyrna holding a food drive next month, looking for non-perishable foodstuffs like canned fruit, canned pasta, crackers, rice pudding, all kinds of stuff. They're going to be in the church hall on July 22nd, so be sure to stop by there and see the kids. We'd
Yeah,
love to see you.
absolutely. Well, you've probably heard the story, and if you haven't, we're going to kind of give you a recap. The 3-year-old girl who she was mauled by a dog, and she was asked to leave a Kentucky Fried Chicken because she was upsetting the other customers.
Because all the scars and
On her face.
Yeah.
Because I'd never thought anybody would act like that with her.
Her grandmother said she was shocked that she and little Victoria were asked to leave. KFC apologized and donated $30,000 for medical expenses. A Las Vegas plastic surgeon offered reconstruction free of charge, and a foundation said they would cover all costs. And get this, it may have all been a hoax.
Yeah.
Well, not all of it. KFC reviewed security video and register receipts, and not only were Victoria and her grandmother not in that particular KFC, they weren't in any KFC when they said it happened.
Right.
So no one placed the order all that day. They said that they placed it. That's another thing that they looked
Yeah.
at. The president of KFC, the franchise, said he would still stand by his pledge. Which
Really?
is honorable, absolutely. Dick West said this: when the allegation was first made, KFC pledged $30,000 to go to medical expenses and started an investigation to find the truth. He went on to say they have pledged the money even if it is proven that the incident never happened. The attack actually happened. She was actually hurt, but the whole KFC thing never happened, and yet they're going to stand by their pledge.
think
So
I
good
have
for
a new
KFC.
respect for KFC.
Absolutely. It's sad. The whole story is
It is.
just is sad.
Yeah.
But
Criminal
KFC
charges,
stepping up.
Who knows? So when you were a kid, did you like to blow bubbles?
Oh yeah.
Did you know the dolphins like to blow bubbles too?
Oh.
Bubble rings. Now
Wow.
look at this. This one just blew a bubble ring. He plays with it a little bit. Scientists at Florida's SeaWorld said that visitors first pointed out this remarkable action by the dolphins, and after observing them for a little while, the researchers determined that the dolphins were actually teaching each other how to do it.
How about that?
They blow it out the blowhole and then play with it.
Smart.
That's crazy.
Smart, smart. Well, still ahead on Delmarva Life. It's hot outside. No surprise there. It's summertime. And you probably know by now that it's not safe to leave your kids or animals in a parked car, but yet it still happens. Up next, could we put a stop to that by downloading a simple app? It's called Remember the Kids, and we're going to show you how it works.
Okay, so let's turn to the pets now. Despite knowing what can happen, a lot of people still intentionally leave their dogs in the car. We're going to share a story that might have you thinking twice before you leave Fido behind.
And from the heat to summer storms a little later, we help you avoid charges from corrupt contractors who try to capitalize on storm damage. Some things to watch out for as you recover after the storm.
Well, here it is just a little bit after 5 o'clock, just about dinner time, right? Do you know what you're making tonight? How about Caribbean shrimp over a bed of rice? We are in the Delmarva Life kitchen to show you how it's done. Delmarva Life, we'll be right back.
Delmarva Life is brought to you by Sussex County Federal Credit Union, guiding you to your financial future. Peninsula Regional Medical Center, honored to serve the entire Delmarva Peninsula since 1897. Your local York and LG dealers, and State Farm Insurance. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.